little here so you can see there's 2 people there.
Yeah, 2 people. So 5 people. Okay, here you go.
Okay. Can you see me?
I can.
Are we good?
Yep,
Is it
we're
in
good.
Focus?
It's in focus.
All right. So as we know in our modern day and age, advertisements are everywhere. Whether it's for trucks or for beauty products or just really for anything, advertisements are really all over the place. But the main topic I want to talk about today is fast food advertisements. Now, we all know of something that happens in February called the Super Bowl. In the Super Bowl, different companies will spend tons of money just to have their advertisements shown. And some of these companies are fast food companies. They will show tons of things like, oh, look at this hot, tasty burger, or look at this, that you really want this, and it really entices you to want to buy it. They also add in different slogans such as, you deserve this, or, hey, take a break, come try our food, and that again entices you even more. However, usually this food is very unhealthy for you and can lead to obesity to the people who consume it. Right here, as you can see, was an advertisement that was shown during one of the Olympics. I don't know why the Olympic rings aren't there, but that's fine. So over here we can see an Olympic athlete who is biting his gold medal after winning. But over here we can see a person who is kind of resembling the person biting into a chicken nugget instead of the gold medal. Now what this implies is it implies that not only are the Olympic athletes eating McDonald's food, but they're also using that, like they're also endorsing it for other people. However, it is probably the Olympic athletes are not eating McDonald's food, and even if they are, they go through very, very intense training to make sure that fat is burned off. So the normal person who is looking at this is going to think, oh, I should consume McDonald's because that's what the average Olympic athlete is doing, even though it doesn't correlate, and it will eventually lead them to have a rise in obesity. Now, the first point I want to talk about is how this also affects children. So not only are advertisements shown in things like the Super Bowl or in other things like the Olympics, but they're also shown all the time on kids' TV. Kids will sit in front of the TV just to watch cartoons or just to spend their day in front of the TV, and tons of different advertisements will pop up around them. In fact, there's been multiple studies that show that with a rise in viewing junk food ads, there's a rise in consumption of the ads, or of the food that the ads are portraying. In a study done by Hetty Kloger, she found a relationship between the cues that these advertisements give and both weight increase and increase in consumption of the food that the advertisements are giving. In fact, according to the Federal Trade Commission, children view about 15 food ads per day, and of 98% of those ads usually are advertising foods that are high in sugar, high in fat, and high in high fructose corn syrup, which will eventually lead to a rise in obesity. In a different study done by Jennifer L. Harris and some of her friends, or not her, her coworkers, she found that when children viewed these ads, there was also a 45% increase in those kids who ate the products that were in front of them. And as you can see in these ads, there's a rise in consumption of products even if they're not even hungry. Even after these kids just had a full meal and are not hungry anymore, they still feel like they need to consume. However, this isn't just a phenomenon in children, it also happens in adults. The exact same study was done, when the only difference was that it was, instead of having children, it was done by adults. And the results were very similar. The only difference was that some of the adults chose to eat healthier foods, while some also still chose to eat junk food. However, the underlying point is that they're still eating food when they're viewing these advertisements on TV. Along with this, when there was snack ads or unhealthy ads that were given to these adults, there's an increase in those adults who ate cookies or chips or something that's very unhealthy such as that. According to a Cornell study, it also said that exposure to sensory things around you will make you want to desire those sensory things. So for example, viewing somebody biting into a tasty burger makes you want to also bite into a tasty burger, and that's exactly what these fast food advertisements are showing you. Now you may be thinking, why does all that matter so much? Is obesity really that bad? Well, yes, it actually is. According to the U.S. Surgeon General, obesity is the fastest growing cause of disease and death in America. And in children, it is the most common metabolic disease, even though 30 years ago, it was so rare to find obesity in these kids. But again, you may still be thinking, is it really that bad? All it is someone being a little bit overweight. But it actually adds a lot of health risks. With obesity comes high blood pressure and more risks of having diabetes, but it also comes with people experiencing more low self-esteem and depression. In fact, in children, the children who have obesity are more likely to develop social and psychological issues because of bullying that they've received from being obese. With all these things lining up together, there seems to be this huge correlation between how obesity and fast food advertisements link together. Now, we can't exactly stop these advertisements from being viewed. There's still going to be tons of advertisements in the Olympics and Super Bowl. And we can't exactly restrict the fast food advertisements because that would go against the free speech amendment in the Constitution. However, what we can do is try to implore these fast food companies to just restrict themselves a little bit and show healthier products. However, places such as McDonald's or Sonic, or places who are sort of inherently unhealthy foods, won't want to do that because all their products are. So instead, it's upon ourselves to fix it. We need to be more aware of our own healthy eating habits and make sure that when we're watching these advertisements, we don't cave in and we don't actually cave in and eat those foods and eat junk food, but we are actually being aware. Along with this, even if we do end up eating, we need to be aware of our own exercising habits too. Because even if you're eating, if you're exercising off, then it all weighs out together. But overall, if we just kind of monitor ourselves and we have the fast food chain try to monitor themselves as well, the rise in obesity will hopefully decline, and because the fast food advertisements are not being as productive. Thank you. I told you it was good.